Hi everyone, welcome to tutorial number 4 to see how to use CodeSnap 2600 to make simple games for Atari 2600 in a visual way. Okay, so we start from where we are in the last session, where we had player 1 able to fire to player 2 and having some effect when on collision. Now we want to add a scoreboard, so something to actually keep track of a score. And to do that, we can use a scoreboard. And in theory, we just add this scoreboard kernel. We add from the scoreboard, we have to initialize. Say first time initialize to 000, and also we need to set a color. The scoreboard has the same color as the play field, but is used to draw like backgrounds on the backgrounds object on Atari 2600. So we can do that with a set and play field, and we can do white, or maybe let's do some other color like this orange. Okay, why I have this effect? Because this scoreboard uses some scan lines, and we have set to 94. That is a maximum for the entire screen. So if you look at this, it uses it uses 16 scan line. So we have to divide by 2 because the kernel is a 2 lines kernel. So reduce by 8. So 94 minus 8, 86. Okay, so now we try again. So now it works. Okay, let's remove this initial missile that starts disabling it, so putting in a position that is not visible. Okay, so now the missile works, but we have not updated the scoreboard. So let's go here. When there is a collision, now we want to go to the scoreboard and increase the scoreboard by 5. Let's try. Okay, let's try to hit the enemy. Okay, why this? It's so many times because the collision happens for all the time the missile is touching the player. So now the missile moves for some time before actually reaching the end. So even if it touches the enemy. So what we want to avoid, that. So let's put the position of a missile to a value that is outside the screen. So that's what we do here. So we can duplicate this. Let's move this to the end. Okay, and we put here. So the missile, when it touches the enemy, will also become invisible because it essentially keeps moving but outside the screen. So let's see. Now I move close to the enemy, and you see it's actually 5 because essentially the missile is destroyed when it touches the enemy. It becomes invisible until I press fire again and I create a new one. There are 2 types of scoreboard. The other one is a splitted one. So not here. So we replace the this one with the splitted one, and also instead of the just regular increase, we go to scoreboard. We have increase left or right. Let's see what happens. Let's increase left by 3. So if I generate the code now, I have a splitted one, and I can increase one or the other depending on what I need. It could be something for player 1, something for player 2. I can even increase both if I want, just to see how it works. So increase the right one by 2. Okay, you need to hit. Okay, 3, 2, 6, 4. So very important, because the way these kernels are working, we can add any number of this block, scoreboard, but and other instructions, but we need to consider that the maximum number of scan lines is this initial 94 that we have at the beginning. So every function we do will use some scan lines. So there is in the manual a microkernel timing guide, multiple languages, that explains how this works, and also explain the scoreboard kernel, indicating how many rows we have to use. So I think this manual will help to understand better how to use this scoreboard and multiple microkernels. This can be used, for example, to create one area with 2 sprites, another area with other 2 sprites. So you can create multiple sprites on screen. Okay, I think it's okay for this lesson 4, for tutorial 4. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.